We start strong as we see a soldier running across the field as if his life depended on it. His name is Heinrich, and he's being chased by his battalion, who are shooting to kill. They shout traitor as they pursue him. This happened because von Starnfeld wanted it. Starfeld, a cruel man, ordered Heinrich's capture that morning. Now he's kneeling before him, after his friends and comrades caught him. Heinrich is being judged for desertion, a crime punishable by death, so they hang him from a tree and leave him to suffocate. Fortunately, a woman named Elsa saw what was happening and approached quietly. When the soldiers moved away, she freed Heinrich and saved his life. While Heinrich catches his breath, his comrades along with Starnfeld besiege the nearby village and spread panic among the residents, who are not used to seeing German troops on their land. In the cabin, Heinrich meets Paul, Elsa's brother, who has a few screws loose in his head, but is harmless. Back in town, Starnfeld meets Robert, the officer in charge of peace. He asks to be taken to Heinrich's parents' mansion. It has burned down, and the villagers stole what little was left. But Starnfeld seems interested in finding something there, and Robert gets scared. Maybe he knows what he's referring to. Meanwhile, Heinrich is regaining his strength at Elsa's house, to whom he hadn't thanked for saving his life. The next morning, Starnfeld had all the villagers remove the blocks from the ruins. He won't leave until he finds what he's looking for. His first officer tells him enemy troops could reach the village in 2 days. That's the time they have to find what he's looking for and leave. Starnfeld sends him to loot the village and gather all the food they can. A few hours later, they reach Elsa's cabin and try to take her chickens, but she comes out with a shotgun and threatens them. Dorfler, the officer in charge, laughs at her and enters the house where he sees Paul. But Heinrich is hidden in the attic. To survive, he must stay quiet and let Elsa handle the situation. But everything gets worse when Dorfler grabs Elsa by the neck and pins her against the table. He plans to do things to her that we can't say out loud. Unable to bear what he is seeing, Heinrich comes out of hiding and helps her, managing to warm Dorfler's private part a bit in the process. Being outnumbered, Heinrich has no choice but to use all his wits to fight, leaving only Dorfler alive, who escapes but will surely return with reinforcements. Heinrich advises Elsa to flee, but she refuses. She built that cabin with her own hands, and nothing in this world will make her abandon it. After a while, Heinrich manages to convince her to flee together through the forest, so they take everything they can carry and start their walk. Meanwhile, Dorfler has arrived with a unit and tells them that Heinrich is still alive and is hiding something important. Back with Heinrich, Paul keeps talking about his cows and the fact that they haven't eaten. Heinrich tries to concentrate on the plan, but his complaints are a bit unbearable. The next morning, Heinrich wakes up and the complaints are gone. Elsa checks everything around, but there are no signs of Paul. Then they hear cars in the distance, and when they look at the cabin, they see Paul being kidnapped by Starnfeld's troops, so they must return to the city, where Starnfeld has gathered a crowd and questions them about something important. In Heinrich's parents' house, there was supposed to be a treasure of very valuable gold bars for the army that needed to appear as soon as possible. Robert, who seemed to know this story, plays dumb, but Starfeld threatens to kill the villagers if they don't hand over the precious metal. To show everyone how serious they are about what they're talking about, he puts a rope around the poor boy's neck and prepares to hang him in front of the whole town. At that moment, the church father comes out to stop this madness and Paul flees. But that freedom lasted only a few seconds as the soldiers chase him to the clock tower. There, Elsa's poor brother repeats to himself that uniforms are bad and attacks one of the guards, managing to throw him from the top of the tower, and with the weapon that this soldier left behind, he kills the other with a burst of bullets. Despite Paul's phenomenal performance, the villain shoots him in the head. Just as Elsa was arriving at the tower with him. Outside the church, Starnfeld is about to execute Robert, who refuses to tell him what happened to the supposed gold. But his aim is terrible and he can't hit a single bullet. Starnfeld has the advantage and could blow his head off if he wanted, but as soon as he sees Elsa, he falls in love and lowers his weapon. While Starnfeld fantasizes about Elsa in the street, Heinrich started a battle with the unit, eliminating soldiers and escaping the area. The unit pursues him, and after a tough battle in which grenades took center stage, only Butler and Heinrich remain in the final fight, but they are interrupted by American planes that shoot at both of them. With no options, Heinrich is forced to flee. Although he has the opportunity to stay and finish off Butler, he prefers to live today and fight again tomorrow. After fleeing for a while, he manages to hide in a house where an older woman finds him. The young man has a knife stuck in his leg and doesn't have the courage to do what's necessary. Suddenly, the old woman pulls out the knife in one motion and tends to his wound. Her son is also in the army, and she has had her experiences in the war. That night, the parish priest appears at the old woman's house. He has just buried Paul and bid him farewell. There he runs into Heinrich and tells him what he knows. Starnfeld is also captive. He wants to make her his wife, but the father refuses for the moment. Additionally, his men are searching for the gold of a Jewish family that lived in the area. While that is happening there, Robert is very close, meeting with two other men. They have info on the gold, but won't let the Germans keep it. Robert, who knows all, apologizes, but his family is at risk. If he doesn't give Starfeld something by dawn, his daughter will hang. As he climbs the stairs to the exit, someone hits him in the face with a bullet. It turns out to be Sonia, his wife, who has put up with him for many years and is now fed up. It's clear that now she wears the pants and won't let the Germans take her gold. On the other hand, Starnfield has prepared a special dinner to propose to Elsa. There he lifts the mask he wears, and we see that half of his face is shattered by the explosion, and in the hole of his eye, he keeps the ring that belonged to his wife. As if seeing a killer stick his fingers into a hole in his face wasn't enough to kill your appetite. Starfeld proposed right there. Back with Heinrich, the father confesses that Robert stole the gold and hid it in the family tomb. However, the father was able to take it out one night and has it hidden in the church. At Starnfeld's house, Elsa has been forced to share the bed with him. When he falls asleep, she looks him up and down and is attracted by the size of his ring. It turns out that it has a secret compartment where it keeps a pill, so she steals it and gets out of bed. But Starnfeld feels the movement and asks where she's going. So Elsa puts the pill in her mouth and then kisses him passionately, managing to pass the pill to him, and then with a direct punch to the jaw, she makes him swallow it, causing foam to gush from his mouth. It was a cyanide pill and Starfeld just had a horrible death. Back to the action. Heinrich throws a gold bar into the barracks to make a deal. He wants to make an exchange. He is safe for the gold. Dorfler goes to Sternfeld's room to inform him of Heinrich's offer, but instead finds his leader's corpse and Elsa has escaped. To deceive Heinrich, they use an employee, and when he lets his guard down, they throw a grenade at him that takes him out of action. Now he is being caught by Dorfler and his people, who are eager to extract information about the gold from him. Just like Sonia and her partners, they have kidnapped the church's priest and forced him to take them to the gold. As expected, the priest takes them to the church and points out the place where he hid the treasure. There, Sonia's partners were taking out the bars when they triggered a grenade and sealed their fate. Shortly after, Dorfler and his men arrived at the church, where the gold was scattered on the ground. Seeing that he had what he needed, Dorfler executed the priest and began to collect the ingots. Shortly after, Elsa from outside used a panzer to destroy the entrance to the church. She, along with the priest's wife, besieged the place and killed several. When in guard, the father's wife found her husband's corpse. She was overcome with grief, and this put her at a disadvantage, so her head was pierced by a bullet the next second. Elsa, on the other hand, stayed focused and managed to eliminate each of the remaining soldiers. Unfortunately, Dorfler was still alive and attacked Elsa from behind brutally, almost killing her, until Heinrich stopped him and used one of the gold bars to crush his skull. In the end, Heinrich and Elsa fled the town, leaving the gold behind as it was never of interest to them. Sonia, who had faked her death all this time, gets up when everyone leaves, collects the gold, and escapes the town in a German car. As she travels across the meadows with a grin from ear to an American army tank turns her car into a fireball, sending her to the other world. And in the case of the gold, The soldiers have no intention of going to look, so it will be for some unsuspecting person who deserves it. And that's how this great movie ends. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and thanks for watching.